Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome to another brand new live episode of Strong Style here on the Outlaw Nation channel, our first of 2022. On New Year's Day, we don't sleep, son. We go right back at it and start talking about some pro wrestling. We're getting into so many things. First, let's introduce ourselves. I'm the Outlaw John Rocha, writer, producer, and host here on the channel, joined as always by my brother down there in Florida, Aaron Turner. How are you, brother?
Trying to do better.
Oh, that's very sweet. That's very sweet. Nice reference, my man. Nice reference. Certainly that moment got me in Spider-Man No Way Home for sure. How was your New Year's? How was your Christmas? We haven't talked I don't think we've talked in between Christmas and New Year's. So how were your holidays, man? Did you have a good time with the fam?
I've never done so many dishes in my entire life. A lot of family, a lot of dishes, a lot of spinach and artichoke dip.
Ooh, nice.
Got really, really drunk on Christmas, and it was great because I never have like an adult Christmas, like because I've always been with like my grandma and all that kind of stuff. So this year I wasn't with my grandma, so like I was just like, fuck it, like let's just let it fly, and I got really drunk, and it was nice.
You got turnt. You got turnt, as the kids like to say. Well, I respect that. A lot of people got drunk. A lot of people apparently got drunk last night. Seeing a lot of people with hangover complaints today on social media. It was hilarious. So there you go. As for me, I had a great Christmas. It was nice to see the moms. She's a little older, moving a little slower, which is a tough thing, but that's the circle of life, ladies and gentlemen. But it was nice to see my sister. It was nice to see her nephew, or my nephew rather, and my niece, and hang out with them, get to know them a little bit more. I hadn't seen them in 3 years. They like skyrocketed in height. My nephew was doing stop motion Lego animation. I got him some Legos for Christmas. Within an hour, he had done 154 shot stop motion animation. I was like, what the hell is going? This is incredible. So yeah, it was great to reconnect with them. And I got this awesome shirt here, Arrive, Raise Hell, and Leave. That came in from the WWE shop.
Stone Cold Steve Austin, man.
That's right. Got the big old skull in the back. I thought I'd put on a new shirt, kind of convey my attitude going into 2022. And certainly this does for sure. A lot of things happening here for the channel and specifically for the show, possibly in the near future for sure. But hope you all had a fantastic Christmas, a fantastic New Year's. We just hung out last night watching The Challenge. We'd never seen that show before, and we turned it on Paramount Plus, and all of a sudden we are hooked like crazy. We're watching the All-Stars episodes and then swinging back probably to see some of the series that people recommend amongst the challenge. Yeah, never seen them ever. Aaron, we're having a great time with them, so a lot of fun with that. Have you seen those?
Yeah, I not like probably not the past like 6 or 7 years, but I used to watch it all the time. I used to watch it when it was the MTV Real World Road Rules Challenge because one of my favorite players was The Miz.
Yes,
Mike Mizanin was great on that. He was great on that show, and then of course he went on to do other stuff.
Yeah,
don't forget. Also coming from there, Jamie Chung as well, who's now a established actress and is great in Dexter New Blood as well. So
oh wow, okay, good to know. Good to know. Yeah, the one we're watching, the All-Stars, they brought back these people from the last 20 years who had won, and they're all like in their 40s or maybe almost 50.
Yeah,
and I think it's hilarious to watch TayJay Lavin kind of navigate these people but it's awesome, and I recommend it. It's on Paramount Plus if you have that streaming service. Anyway, I like competition, certainly competition. Today we're going to be talking about Toni Storm quitting or resigning or being let go from the WWE. A lot of reports out there. We're also going to get into our first ever STRONGIE Awards, named by our own Aaron Turner there. We're giving out the best and the worst of pro wrestling in 2021. We're talking gimmicks, matches, wrestlers, both male and female, storylines, moments. All of that's going to be talked about when we get into it as well. And we might even touch on a little bit of Rampage last night, which featured 4 women going at it with blood
in a wrestling match.
In a wrestling match with blood, thumbtacks, chairs, tables, anything you could name was involved in this one, which is pretty incredible. But and also Streamlabs Super Chats are open. Hey, it's the first day of the new year. You're joining us live. Send in some support. Send in your Streamlabs. Send in some Super Chats here to show us how much you appreciate the show, and let us know what you want to talk about as we navigate all of this that we got coming for you in this episode of Strong Style. All right, Aaron, without further ado, let's get into it. What's first?
Well, as if 2021 didn't want to kick you in the balls enough with the unfortunate passing of John Madden and now Betty White. Toni Storm has apparently quit the WWE. It came out later in the week here that Toni Storm had been released, and then it was clarified that she actually quit the WWE. Dave Meltzer cited that burnout was the reason that she left. Whatever, who cares about Meltzer? But anyway, that's what he said. She did work a triple threat match the night before in Washington, D.C. against Charlotte Flair and Sasha Banks, and apparently she flew herself home wherever. I'm not sure if she lives in the States or she still lives in England. I imagine she lives in the States, or I'm not sure. Why did I say England? I don't know why I said that, but
Australia, I think. Yeah.
Australia is what I meant. Yeah, I'm not sure if she lives in the States or wherever, but she flew wherever her home is, and apparently gave notice to WWE that she was quitting, and WWE said okay. And now she's no longer with the company, which of course is a real shame because I'm a Toni Storm fan.
Yeah.
And I think she was unique. I was actually talking with our mutual friend Ryan Satin about this because he just had her on his show this past week. Yes. You didn't catch it. And she was talking about how like it was a childhood dream to be in WWE. Like, oh, everybody says that, it feels like. But it felt like she was really genuine in that. She's not very old.
Yeah, no.
And I was reading something that Booker T said. He said, I started wrestling when I was 25. So I technically got into the business later than most people do these days. So like Toni Storm, someone's been wrestling since she was like 16 or 17. Now she's 25. She's been all over the world. She's wrestled for like 8 or 9 years. So like, he's like, I get that. So it's very strange though, because I felt like Toni, though the WWE had embarrassed her on SmackDown with the whole pie thing.
Oh my God. Yes.
It was terrible, just awful. And she sat in catering forever, which was something that she talked about on Ryan's show. But it was like, she really had something, dude. Like she was different from Paige. Yeah. She was different from Rhea Ripley, different than these people that come in and have like kind of changed the women's division. Yeah. And I felt like she was one of those people that at her age and with her skill set and her worldliness, that she could have been one of those pillars of the company, not just the women's division of the company, someone that you would see like on the side of the truck and, in the USA ads and stuff like that. So it's a real shame because WWE lost somebody that's really, really good. I don't know what the particulars of trying to keep her, if there was any kind of like, hey, well, let's work this out kind of deal. Because it seems like the WWE's running a pay-per-view tonight, WWE Day 1, and it kind of seemed like she was going to be in that title mix with Charlotte Flair, and now there's no SmackDown Women's title match tonight, so there's that. But yeah, and people are giving Toni a bunch of crap, and I don't understand that at all because
that's ridiculous.
WWE is a corporation that just let 80-plus wrestlers go last year, so fuck them in that instance. But very disappointing news about Toni.
Yeah, I'm in the same camp. We're both big Toni Storm fans. Seeing her from NXT UK and what she was able to do, winning that title, the Mae Young Classic, kind of announcing herself first, then winning the thing, and Senior Nerd saying that the first two winners of Mae Young Classic are no longer employed by the WWE. Truly pathetic, and that's a shame to see. It's absolutely, Senior Nerd's absolutely right. You want to see the young talent come in and get a shot to show what they can do, and maybe burnout doesn't happen if you're booking this person in a positive way. If you're not letting this person sit on the sideline for 3 months, if you're not letting people forget who she is and then bringing her back and throwing pie on her face and then letting her sit in catering for so long, that all adds up. No matter how much you enjoy doing something, once you get into the actual thing of doing it, it may change completely for you, because on the outside, it looks like, oh, I'd love to get there. And then once you get there, you see the bullshit, you see the political, the politics, the backstage stuff. You see how you kind of seen as way, way down on the totem pole. And then you have to wait for other people to decide if you have enough talent for them to create an angle around. And that is so frustrating when you're already super talented and able to take the ball and run. So with Toni Storm, it's just incredibly frustrating, because yet it's another example of the WWE fucking up a young talent when they could have really built her up and had her become a challenger for Charlotte Flair. Why let Charlotte Flair embarrass her in that way? Why? Did they know behind the scenes that Toni had maybe been saying some stuff stuff to certain wrestlers, that she was feeling like she was 100% appreciated, or that she wasn't sure if she wanted to keep doing it, and the thing is also, Aaron, once you achieve a certain level and you're still not satisfied and you're not happy at that level, then that's when you start to do some look at yourself, some introspective look. And maybe she realized after that triple threat match, I don't like being here anymore. When I left the Schmodown, I retired. It's because I don't want to be there anymore. I'm not happy being there anymore. It's the same thing. Once you hit that moment and you're done with something, as a competitor, you're no longer tied to do it. You no longer want to do it. And so with Toni, I think she hit that wall, and now she's going to go back and relax a little bit. And who knows if she ever wrestles again, bro. She may have another angle that she wants to play, another career she wants to pursue. That has happened. Trish Stratus is super successful doing her fitness stuff. Keebler's doing her thing. People leave wrestling all the time, especially young female wrestlers, and find their new paths in life. So Kelly. So Toni Storm can certainly walk away for a while now, kind of see where she's going to go next, take a look at the landscape and see where she wants to fall. And don't be surprised if she never wrestles again and finds something else that is her calling. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with it, but I think that Toni will wrestle again. I mean, her husband or soon-to-be husband is Juice Robinson, who's in New Japan. So I think that we could see her start traveling the world again. I mean, I say that and then COVID, but sometimes shit just wears you the fuck out, man. Like it's just a thing. It happens. Yeah. Sometimes in life you just, I don't know. Sometimes it just burns you out. You got to take some time off. The thing with Toni is I feel like Toni is just a wrestler's wrestler. Like that's what she wants to do. Right. Of course, everybody's doing the clamoring. Where's she going? AEW? Is she going to Impact? What's she going to do? Yeah. I think that she would be better served in AEW, of course, because I think that would be a higher profile thing for her.
Absolutely.
But she doesn't need that. She could travel the world again and do all that kind of stuff, do the Stardom thing, and everywhere she's been, she doesn't have like this track record of being toxic or anything like that. If anything, she has a great reputation. I don't know how this quitting a company is going to affect her. I think WWE's own reputation right now will save her from that. Oh, yeah. I feel like if it was another company and she just kind of bounced, everybody'd be like, totally. Fuck. But I take some time off, get married, do your thing, enjoy your honeymoon, enjoy some time off, and just get back to it when you feel like it.
Yeah. I don't think her quitting the WWE, as you said, Aaron, the condition the WWE is in now, you would understand that. And you factor that in if she wants to come and wrestle for your company and go, yeah, I mean, if you're committed to it, let's do it, and who knows, she may just not want to do it anymore. And that's okay too. I think that's totally fine if she doesn't want to do it anymore. And maybe you're right. Maybe this traveling the world, it'll rekindle her desire to do it again. And then we'll see her again at some point down the road, maybe even down the road with the WWE, if certain people in management change or are moved out, if WWE is bought by another company and wants to kind of focus on the younger people and make them the center of what they're doing, all of that is possible. So she may not be done just yet, but if she is, I think that's totally fine, But I do want to say something here. This speaks volumes about the WWE, Aaron. I mean, there's a great line in The Godfather when Sollozzo says to Tom Hagen, he says, 10 years ago, could I have gotten to The Godfather? Could I have gotten 6 shots at The Godfather? He's slipping, Mike. He's slipping. And or Tom, he's slipping. And the same thing here. The WWE is slipping. Can you imagine a wrestler at the top of her game, male or female, quitting the WWE as a young talent? It's unheard of. And that tells you that there's problems there beyond what people have been reporting. There's issues there beyond what people are reporting. And the fact that they're willing to let a talent like this just quit on them and go, I think that's a bad look. I think it's a very bad look. And the WWE looks weak. Looks like Don Vito there in The Godfather. Looks absolutely like they could be taken out. So if I'm AEW, I'm looking at that and I'm going, we just have to keep building step by step and go after them, and we can take them out. That's my opinion.
I see a lot of people in the chat trying to.
Stone Cold did it after he was already a champion. That's not the fucking same thing at all. Sorry.
And no, that's exactly what what I was going to say. Like Stone Cold was the top guy. Stone Cold was on the road 350 days a year. Stone Cold Steve Austin was not only on the road going to a different town every day, he was getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, going to a radio show, then going to an autograph signing, then going somewhere else, and then wrestling, and then doing it all again. So it's a little different. I'm not saying that, you know, mental health is not, her mental health is any different than Stone Cold.
Sure.
Saying, just saying schedule wise, it's a different deal because Stone Cold was the top guy in the company. Mm-hmm. But it's like, we always talk about this, right, John? Like, we always talk about, as opposed to like working in a corporate structure. I work in a corporate structure. You know, that's my job, my personal job, my 9 to 5. Yeah. And I don't think anybody I work with watches this show. I fucking hate it. Like, I hate the I don't hate my job. I don't hate the people that I work with. I don't even hate the company that I work with or work for. I just hate the structure. Like, I hate the idea of, you know, you're just a number. Like, you're easily replaced. A friend of mine was saying that, like, you know, you die. If you were to die tomorrow, someone else is just going to punch in. Like, it's not like, it's not like a big deal. And I'm just like, man, that's fucking terrible. Like, what a terrible thing. But anyway, I mean, it's what we always talk about. Like, if you are in a toxic work environment, it is the same thing going on with COVID, right? Like, people finally kind of realized, like, do I need to go work at my shitty job making $9 an hour for people that don't give a flying crap about me? Yeah. Or can I go build something myself and make more money? Like, okay, for example, the other day I go to McDonald's to get my dog some chicken nuggets, and I'm in the drive-thru, and I'm not knocking anybody that works at McDonald's. God, it's a job, whatever. It's a tough job, I see a sign and it says, you know, now hiring managers up to $15 an hour. I said, dude, you couldn't pay me $15 an hour to listen to all these employees' problems and deal with a bunch of BS. Like, I'm not doing it. Like, this is why people don't like my you know, my family are always people don't want to work and all that kind of crap. And it's like, no, because you don't want to do all this crap for $15 an hour. Right. And deal with all this bullshit. It's just people are just tired of it. And I think Tony was feeling it and was like, you know what? I don't need to do this. I'm good. I can just go away right now.
Think about that. $15 an hour, 40 hours a week. That's $600. And that's if you're getting 40. That's $600 minus the government taking about what, $200 in taxes. Then your health care,
25%. Yeah.
Right. Then your health care. And that's what you're looking. So you're living in essence on $1,200 a month. You think that's what people should be living on in this country? That's fucking ridiculous. So yeah, I agree with you. It's that kind of thing. People have changed their minds. We saw this in the NFL. That's why I'm saying that this is this is kind of a bigger story here, because we see young players all the time are quitting now in leagues in the NFL and the NBA. These kind of situations where they can get hurt, they're quitting because they're saying to themselves, this makes no sense to me to subject my body to this kind of nonsense. And I don't want to end up like those doddering old guys I see at the veterans get-togethers at Canton, Ohio, who can barely get up without 2 canes. I don't want to end up like that, or get CTE like they found out with Vincent Jackson having that CTE, which is the reason he did the things that he did. You don't want to end up like that. So you change your mind. And, you know, these athletes now ain't the athletes from the old days. These athletes now are in top physical condition. And when you take a hit from an athlete like this, it can devastate you. You know, we're seeing Alexa taking some time off, and she might come back in Royal Room. Who knows? But like, she's taking some time off because she's like, enough is enough. People started souring on the storyline. Before that, I was getting treated like a rag doll, literally, by Ronda Rousey. So there's only so much. And so to me, that's someone who is primed to walk away completely and never have to wrestle again. And she'll become even more famous once she figures out what else she wants to do next and be more profitable, make more money without having to put her body on the line. But you might be 100% right here about Toni, which you said earlier. She may be a wrestler's wrestler like Bayley. Like, they love it. They're lifers. And Sasha, they love it. And so she may want to come back because of that. But it's no surprise to me if she's actually walked away, because people are doing this. They're changing their minds about the workplaces they want to subject themselves to, the toxicity that they want to subject themselves to. So I'm not surprised by it at all, you know, to be honest.
I was talking about this with a friend of mine. He's big. Yeah. He grew up in Pittsburgh. We went to the Steeler game together. Yeah. And we were talking about Kenny Pickett, the quarterback from Pitt, the Pittsburgh Panthers. And I was asking him, because he's an old school guy. You know, he played college football. His brother was in the NFL. And I was asking him what he thought about Kenny Pickett not playing in the bowl game. Like, he opted out. This was something that started with Leonard Fournette at LSU. Leonard Fournette, high-profile running back, now plays for the Buccaneers, opted out of the bowl game, which was unheard of at the time. Like I'm not going to play in the bowl game. I'm just going to go do my thing. People were just like up in arms, like appalled. And I asked him, like, what do you thought about, because he's a Pitt guy. I said, what do you think about Kenny Pickett not playing in the bowl game against Mississippi State? And he was like, I don't care. He's like, the thing is, what's Kenny Pickett playing for? School pride?
Yeah.
What if Kenny Pickett goes out there and like blows out his knee? He's going to be the first probably the first quarterback in the NFL draft. So that's what, like $50 million? Like, is Pitt going to pay him $50 million if he gets hurt? Nah. So why would Kenny Pickett do that? Plus, all these coaches get paid millions and millions of dollars, and they just flip-flop everywhere. And nobody ever says anything about that, but they always like harp on the player. He's like, it's bullshit.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing.
It's only the nutball fans who don't understand that. It's only the nutball fans who are living vicariously through their alma mater, winning games with children and their teenagers. They are 18, 19 teenagers, 20-year-olds. They're taking pride or some kind of bragging rights for themselves into their own lives based on the hard work of these young men on the field, and when you don't have the perspective that these guys on the field, these young men on the field, could get at any point, could have their future earnings destroyed by a random hit, someone falling into their knee, falling back on their leg, on their foot, or anything like that, or throwing their arm straight into, or their finger straight into someone's helmet. You just never know. So not being understanding of that makes no sense to me. So shout out to your friend who is understanding of that, because that is the trend. I think Bosa did that at Ohio State as well. Didn't play in the bowl game, stayed out of it because there's money to be made here. So we shall see down the road as they've kind of opened the door to these college athletes making money if this changes things. But, it is how it is now. But in the end, it's what you got to do what's best for you. And if this is best for her, then we send her nothing but positive thoughts and hope she kind of bounces back and does what she wants to do next with the next phase of her life. And maybe you're right, Aaron, getting married, kind of going away for a little bit, figuring things out and seeing where she wants to go next. And I imagine there'll be people who will be putting opportunities on her table for her to take a look at for sure, that are not wrestling related. We shall see.
No doubt.
Gramash sent in a super chat, said, Happy New Year, John and Aaron. Congrats on 20,000 subs. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Gramash, much love to you, brother, man. Yeah, almost at 20,200 as we're recording this, but I appreciate it. Happy New Year to you too. And yeah, Streamlabs super chats are open, ladies and gentlemen. Start sending in some support here. I've put it in the chat. It's pinned in the chat. It's there on the screen. It's also in the description of this video. Send in some love on this New Year's Day for all of us. All right, Aaron, where shall we go next, my man?
Well, Happy New Year to Gramash, and I'm sorry that Sting got hit with that boombox on Rampage by Max Caster. Sorry about that. We're going to move on to something that really kind of popped up yesterday, because I was like, I'm sitting at home, I'm like kind of scrolling through Twitter. I tried to stay off it for the holidays, and
sure,
kind of scrolling through. My wife and I just got done watching Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
Nice.
I'd seen all the Harry Potter movies out of sequence, but never together. My wife loves them, so now we're watching in sequence. I just figured I just watched number 4, probably my favorite so far. Anyway, that's not important, but so I'm scrolling through Twitter last night, and I see this tweet this thing from Ariel Monroe, known as Big Swole in AEW, and she clarified a couple of months ago she left the company. Like, that was the story. It's like Ariel Monroe's like, I'm done with AEW. People are like, okay, cool, whatever, go do your thing. And then I guess someone asked her to clarify on a show, like, what happened. And well, she hit a hammer. Let me read this for you.
Sure.
She said, outside of the lack of structure, their biggest issue, which is diversity. I do not beat around the bush when it comes to diversity in my people. There is no representation, truly. And when there is, it does not come across in the Black community as genuine at all. I don't know why everybody is so afraid to accept it or say it, but it's not a good look. What happens is you have this wonderful company that treats people like family, but there's nobody that looks at me that is represented at the top and in the room with them. They are not helping to necessarily influence decisions, but to explain why certain slang and certain words shouldn't be said. There is no one else who can explain our culture and experience except for us. And people, the internet was kind of a mixed bag on that one, because I read a lot of people saying, well, she's not very good anyway, and this or that, and she needs to go away. But I'm not Black. I don't know if you guys can tell. I'm not.
If you notice it, yeah, exactly.
I don't know the Black experience. I don't understand. I couldn't possibly understand the Black experience. I assume it's quite challenging. That's just me assuming. So I kind of just like I'm not saying shit. Like I'm just gonna listen. I'm gonna step back and see what people are saying and how this goes. And then I thought for the most part, it's okay. She put something out there, and this is how she felt. And apparently, a lot of other people felt this way as well, not necessarily in the company. But then Tony Khan, the guy that owns the company, tweeted out saying the top 2 AEW execs are brown, me and Mega. I don't know who that is. He said Jade, as in Jade Cargill, Bowens, Caster, Dante, Nyla, Isaiah, and Mark Quinn all won on TV this month. The TBS title tournament has been very diverse. I let Swole's contract expire as I felt her wrestling wasn't good enough.
Yeah, dick move.
AEW Street Fight tonight.
Yeah.
And that's from the owner of the company.
Yeah.
Also, Leo Rush came in with a tweet, a response to the tweet of Tony Khan saying, apologize.
Yeah.
So, damn. What are your thoughts on putting all this together? What do you think?
Listen, the diversity thing, if you know me, if you follow me the last few years, that's a big thing for me. And just because someone's champion is a person of color or people of color happen to win the matches that week does not necessarily excuse Swole's point of view or invalidate Swole's experience at AEW. The smarter move from Tony Khan would have been, you can lay out all that stuff in the first 2 sentences, even though Jay Washington responded, I think, correctly, saying that's like saying, look, I got all these black friends. I couldn't possibly be racist.
Yes, 100%.
It's essentially tantamount to that. The smarter response, even if you had started with that, which sucks, is to say, but I take Swole's comments seriously. I will reach out to her, speak to her, and hear her point of view. I want to learn about this subject. The stupidest thing you can do is say, as a person of color, I couldn't possibly be fucking blind to racism. Because I'm going to tell you something. I worked for a person of color, and he certainly had no problem having an almost white staff and having almost full-time white people doing the jobs of writing, on camera, and producing. So I know what it's like to work with someone of color who thinks they couldn't possibly be racist and then promote a 3-person white review panel. So that's the thing at the end of the day. So you look at this, you go, okay, what's the diversity here? And if a person of diverse background, and certainly not your heritage or not your race, has an issue with diversity, doesn't feel represented, nowadays the smart move is to hear them out, set up a time. If you're going to go public, say, I'm going to reach out to Swole or tag Swole and go, I'm very sorry to hear about your experience, Swole. I didn't know this was going on. Please reach out, DM me, or I'm going to reach out to you. Let's set up a time and talk about it. This disturbs me. You win massive points by doing that. But this is dick swinging of the highest order from a young douche. He did the same thing at Fulham. And the thing is, you've got to kind of call this guy to task. And I hope other black wrestlers, other wrestlers of minority points of views step out and start going after this guy. Because the worst thing that can happen is that you don't say anything if you're a person of color in that federation. And the pattern keeps repeating, and Britt Baker is getting shit for retweeting the Tony Khan thing. A white woman retweeting this, who's the champion. And that was a bad move by her. Stay the fuck out of it. Stay the fuck out of it. Yep. You have no idea what the black experience or the person of color's experience is like. So this is such a bonehead move from a guy who at this moment is on the precipice of possibly going toe-to-toe with the WWE. It feels bad, man. It looks bad, man. It does not feel good.
No, it looks terrible. I mean, when Vince McMahon is the pillar of company like diversity, we got a fucking problem. Like, remember, like, it wasn't too long ago that you and I were talking. We talked about every champion in WWE, and I think everyone but 1 or 2 was a person of color. Yeah, and like we were like, oh, this is great. And how long did that take? Like, how long's the WWE been around? Like, 50 years? Like, it took a long fucking time. Way overdue. So let's just, for fun, let's just look at the AEW champions right now. You have your world champion, who is Adam Page. He's a white guy. Yep. You have your TNT champion, which is now Cody Rhodes, white guy. You have your women's champion, which is Britt Baker, who's a white woman. And then you have your tag team champions, the Lucha Bros, which are Hispanic. So there you go. There's 1 for 4. We're at 25%. That's good. And then you have your TBS upcoming championship, which the finals will be Ruby Soho, who's a white woman, versus Jade Cargill, who's black. So there you go. There's something.
Unless Ruby Soho wins, then,
then we're in trouble. So, yeah, man, it's such a bad look. A bad look for one, and Britt Baker should know better. Come on, Big Swole, despite some matches she had were not good. Okay, well, Britt Baker had matches for 2 years that weren't fucking good.
Yes.
So let's be honest. Right. And a lot of that character, that DMD character, was built on the back of Big Swole during that rivalry when Britt couldn't wrestle because she had broke her leg or broken her hand or whatever. Big Swole did a lot of that. So they just didn't use her, man. They didn't use her the right way. I thought she was very talented when she was in the Mae Young Classic. I liked seeing her. I thought that AEW just didn't give her enough time. To be honest, you need places for these people. She was, I thought she was a fine talent. As a matter of fact, I can't find the piece, but there's an interview that Tony Khan did where this was before she quit or left and all that kind of stuff. And he said that he was a big fan of Big Swole and liked what she could do in the ring. So to hear she couldn't wrestle or what the fuck ever, it's bullshit. And you're just trying to save face, trying to make yourself look good. I don't know if this was, and I hate to assert here, but I don't know if this was cocaine fueled. I have no idea. But it's what the hell? Why would dude, put your phone away? Come on. How are you going to do that? Could you imagine if Vince McMahon said something like this? People would be murdering Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
And it's half and half, which is pretty disgusting.
Yeah.
That it's half and half. I don't get it. I think it's wrong. I think Tony Khan owes an apology to not only Big Swole. I think he owes an apology to every person in his locker room. And I think that he owes all the fans an apology.
To be fair, Cody Rhodes is of partial Cuban descent from his maternal grandfather. Way in the back. What
the hell is that? Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's just, there's a little bit there. So you want to give credit to Cody a little bit, but he's overall a white wrestler. Everybody identifies him as Dustin, as white as the day is long. So it's and so is obviously Dusty. So you've got that kind of connection. So you want to give, credit where credit's due. But overall, this is a bad look. This is a bad look and this is a bad response. And I think people skewering him is absolutely correct. And, Vince is someone that could get away with nonsense like this, right? Using the N-word, doing all the stuff that he's done, mistreating black wrestlers for decades because he's the top dog. And so people are desperate to become famous, to become successful, and they'll do what they need to do and ignore certain things so that they can be successful doing what they do and make a lot of money. I don't begrudge a person of color going to work for the WWE, dealing with the nonsense. That's your journey, your path that you're walking, and you want to do that. But when someone gets called out like this, I think Tony Khan resorting to attacking that person's talent as a wrestler, that's a personal attack, right? What Swole was saying was the overall company, the appearance of it bothers me. What Tony responded to was getting into a petty bitch fight at a high school. And that's not what the fuck this is all about. She's speaking about her overall situation in the world of professional wrestling that has been around for decades. And it's only just now changing, as Aaron astutely pointed out, after the Black Lives Matters protests. All of a sudden, the WWE realized they could run with black wrestlers in their top positions and are going forward with it. I mean, look around all the entertainment. All of a sudden, people of color supposedly can now act. All of a sudden, can supposedly do. Look at all your commercials that are coming out now. A lot of people of color where you would normally see white people doing those commercials. So it wasn't like all of a sudden, people of color could act or people of color could wrestle. It was because the powers that be, who are usually white, decided it was time, or self-hating minority people decided it was time to make space, and that it was okay for people of color to have more of a presence. So I think Tony Khan responded stupidly. As I said before, should have just DM'd Swole or reached out to Swole, or even responded saying, I'm going to take, I take this very seriously. I want to sit down with Swole and talk to her about it. But this is a red state response. And I think he's playing to the red state meters who hate any kind of talk about anybody of ethnic origin having an issue with how things are constructed. And so it just felt like it was a stupid. And you could turn around his logic and be like, you as a person of color to respond so stupidly is even worse than a white person responding stupidly, because you should know better, So that's my 2 cents.
I appreciate that. I thought that was well said. Powerhouse Hobbs did respond, a black man, and he said something to the tune of like, AEW's been there for me through the past of my mom. I've been in some big spots and yada yada, and I love this company, all that stuff. And that's great. I mean, that's great if that's Willie Hobbs' experience. But the thing is, that's not her experience. So that's where the difference is. And I think that's where we're getting kind of mixed up and tied up. That's not the same experience that she had. So that's what we need to look into. We don't need to look into how great everybody else has had it in AEW. I'm sure people are great, are having a great time, but some people don't fucking like it. And this happens. So to call it out, and shout out to Leo Rush, who I've given a lot of hell on this show for sticking to it and saying, listen, if no one's going to say something, I'll say something. And he did. Yeah. So, and he went right to the boss. He didn't just sit there and like dilly dally around. He went right to him and said it. So shout out to Leo for that. It's just a bad situation. Tony Khan has to do something and something quick.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you. Luis Enrique de la Pena said, would it be a good idea to have a new tag team title made for 3 wrestlers? It would create more opportunities for more wrestlers. Happy New Year.
I'm going to tell you this. I don't usually like adding championships, especially this far into the company. However, I think that AEW's roster is so vast right now that a trios championship would work. And I say this because yes, they have a lot of factions at AEW. There's a ton. Yeah. And if they're going to do intergender wrestling, which they haven't really done in the past, that would be a good element to put the trios championship in there. I think it's cool. It's a staple of Lucha Libre. It's something they have in a lot of those federations. So yeah, I think it could work in AEW because of their roster being so large.
Yeah, so there you go. Also, he follows up saying, do you think Mexican wrestlers don't get pushed enough or wrestle for the main titles because their English isn't good enough? Yes.
I don't like the phrasing "good enough," but I hear what you're saying. I definitely think that's the reason Andrade El Idolo has not been pushed, because his English is not great. And I don't think. See, I'm the kind of person that's like, hey, wrestling should speak for itself. But I also don't run a company where you have sponsorships and ads and stuff like that. Where it was kind of explained to me that like you have to talk people into a building. So if you can't do a promo that people can understand or something like that, that's going to be an eventual issue. I don't think everybody needs to speak perfect English in a wrestling show. I mean, get real. Yeah. But do I think it's a problem? I think that is probably a reason that's holding them back. But I think the better wrestlers win out no matter what. So Andrade El Idolo will eventually get there. The Lucha Brothers, I don't think either one of them speak English very well. Yeah. And they're champions, have been on top of the card. So I think it just depends on who it is and if they're going to spend the time. I think that's what keeps Nakamura back in WWE is it's not, he's Japanese. He doesn't speak English that well. So I think that keeps him back. And that's a terrible thing because he's a great wrestler. Yeah. But I guess sadly from like a marketing perspective, I kind of understand it, but at the same time, I don't. You have international viewers as well, so why cater to just one audience? So.
Yeah, fair. Roberto Arsenal says Tony was in a lose-lose situation. He doesn't speak up. The Twitter mob will come after him because his silence would look bad, but his response was bad. You're not in a lose-lose. I just told you how you could be in a win-win when you say, I take her comments I take it seriously. I'm going to sit down and talk with Swole and figure this out. It's so simple. I don't know why people don't go with the simplest answer, which is I'm sorry to hear that. Let me talk with this person. I'm going to figure this out. I promise you. I don't know why that's seen as weakness to accept another's point of view and actually give them credit and their experience credit and decide to open a dialogue with them. It just doesn't make sense. I don't know how that's seen as weak,
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Tony Khan took the L the second he decided to respond like that. So it wasn't a
True.
lose-lose initially. He thought he was winning. So yeah, he just should have shut the fuck up. that's shut the fuck up. That's what he should have done. That's exactly it. He pretended to know what the experience was like for Ariel Monroe, a black woman in a wrestling company, and you're fucking wrong. You're wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Outlaw following up saying that the Khans did donate a bunch of money to Trump, so we shouldn't be surprised. I don't know.
So did the McMahons.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. There's a correlative nature. There's a lot of companies that donated.
Yeah, so did the owners of Ring of Honor. So it's like,
there you go. Zach Woolley says, I just wanted to say, hope you have a happy new year, gentlemen. Best of luck this year. Oh, thanks.
Thank you, Zach. A lot of interesting stuff happening with Strong Style. So we're excited.
We're absolutely. And we had a super chat or Streamlab that came through from Krista Ramos. Says, hey, John and Aaron, this occurred overnight. Big Swole had some words about AEW. Do y'all think Tony Khan's tweet went too far? I think we addressed that, Christian. I know Big Swole criticized them, but as the owner of a promotion, he has to be able to accept criticism even if he disagrees with her. So Ramos, I think we're on the same page. I think all of the three of us are on the same page, brother man. So thank you very much for your Streamlab. We appreciate it. And please, if you're watching right now, keep sending them in. Streamlabs the address is right above Aaron's head. It's also in the description of this chat and in the video or in the chat rather. And it's in the description of this video for sure. All right. Murder Hunter says RIP Darby Allin murdered by Cora Jade a couple of weeks ago.
Did you see that?
I did not see that.
Okay,
what happened?
Let me address this first.
Go ahead.
Zeno Hour and Aaron World Order said that Phoenix speaks good enough English. Zeno Hour says Ray Phoenix speaks English fluently. So my apologies to Ray Phoenix on that one. But anyway, so there was this tweet that somebody was tweeting with Darby Allin, and they said like I guess asked him what he thought about Cora Jade or something, because Cora Jade does the skateboard, the punk gimmick in NXT, and he said like, I'm a real skateboarder. This is my life. It's not just a character. Whatever. And that's pretty harsh. And then Cora Jade responded by saying, I have zero sexual assault allegations. It's, it's not my character. It's who I am in real life. And I was like, holy shit. So Cora Jade just went for the heart, man. Went for the heart.
My God.
Ripped his soul apart and spit it out and sucked it up like Rebecca Ferguson in Dr. Sleep. Like it was bad. It was bad. Really bad.
I got it. Like there it is, right there. Wow, Darby Allin skateboarding man. Darby
there you go.
Skating is a huge part of not a fake character. Cora Jade, I'm now immediately a fan. This tweet has been deleted. Did she delete it? Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame she deleted it. I like this. Chelsea Green pitched. I like that. I love it. Anyway,
that's old news. She pitched
that's
to be
old
everything.
News. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Cora Jade didn't choose violence. She chose annihilation.
Darby Allin took a shot. Cora Jade dropped a nuke.
For real.
Yeah, Cora Jade was like Boba Fett. If you've seen the new first episode.
I have not.
Okay. He obliterates somebody. All right. Anyway. They both deleted their tweets. Did he get smoked like that? It
was good.
Right,
it was good.
It was good response. Absolutely. We got 70 of you all watching us. Thank you so much for joining us on New Year's Day. We appreciate it. Please make sure you hit a like on this video as we go forward into our next topic. We appreciate it. And please send in your Streamlabs super chats as we go along. What do we got next here, Aaron?
Well, before we get to the Strongies, let's talk about. You were excited about this women's tag team match on Rampage. Talk to me about it. What did you like about it?
I woke up this morning to a brand new year and a brand new day. And while I'm on the crapper enjoying my life, I see this notice coming through about you got to watch this match from a friend of mine. And I immediately finish my business, go outside there, wash the hands, sit down and watch this incredible 4-woman match from New Year's Day, or New Year's Smash here from AEW. The street fight between Penelope Ford and the Bunny versus TayJay there, Tay Conti and Anna Jay. And I absolutely loved it. But I'll tell you this. When the tax came out, all I saw was Aaron Turner pop up on my right shoulder and say, man, I hate these death matches. That's all I saw.
Oh, man.
And I was loving it because these ladies were laying themselves out. You know, Aaron, we've been giving the AEW female roster a little bit of crap once you get past the first few participants, and these ladies brought it. Was every move correct? I mean, no, not every move was on point, but some of the spots were phenomenal. And the thing is, if you don't have the talent fully there, or you're still learning how to be good as a wrestler, if you put your body on the line in a match like this, you're telling the fans in a way, hey, this is how much I'm willing to entertain you. And you win the fans over. And the fans were chanting towards the end of that match a number of chants of appreciation. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I came away super impressed by Anna Jay. I feel like in this match, she took another step forward to getting closer to being someone to seriously be considered to hold the belt. So I loved this match for that. I thought the bunny came off really well. Take Conti. So I know your feelings about Ford, but I thought overall I liked it. You didn't like it.
I didn't like it. But the thing is, like, I've said, like, Allie or the bunny has, like, regressed so much. I've never seen a wrestler go from, like, I wouldn't say she's, like, the tippy top, but, like, such a good wrestler to have such good stuff in Impact, and then comes here and it's like, what the fuck? But Penelope Ford doing them trying to say it was a double knee drop when it was obviously a moonsault that she just fucked up. And the table did not break. So I see it in the chat. Senor Nerd, I am the table from Botchamania. Table did not break, which was great. The thing that sucks is, like, so Allie, there's one point where Anna Jay, like, puts her in a sleeper hold, and Allie, like, supposed to throw her back into the table.
Yeah, right.
And it was the same problem we had with the NXT Women's War Games match. She, like, softballed her into it. It was like she barely broke. And I'm like, throw that bitch into the table. Like, come on. Like, let her have it.
Still, though, it was a hell of a spot. You wanted to, they're not at that level to deliver perfected spots like that are really going to make the crowd go insane.
All she had to do was run into the damn thing.
I guess.
Anyway, like,
but the pile driver onto the table was
cool. That was a
incredible.
good one. Good job by Tay Conti. That was cool.
Yeah.
Penelope Ford's just bad. And I liked the thumbtacks was interesting.
It was
because I don't know if the spot where Allie ran into the tacks and slid and did a split was that planned or not? Because
I don't think so.
I don't know because it looked kind of weird, but it was kind of funny at the same time. I liked the finish. I did like that where she wrapped the barbed wire around her arm and put her in the chokehold. I thought that was cool.
That was brilliant.
That was a neat ending. Man, what am I trying to think of? Oh, Allie or the bunny, like, whoa, like, cut herself way too deep.
She was
way too deep.
Holmes. Yeah.
Ugh. And Tay Conti was bleeding too, but she wasn't nearly as bad as Allie. Oh my God. Yeah. Like, that was rough.
It was a crimson mask that she was wearing, and her hands were covered with blood.
It was Ric Flair style.
Yeah, especially with Omicron now, dude. I mean, this idea of something bleeding all over you.
Dear God.
It's just, it scares the hell out of you for sure.
But it was a cool finish. I just didn't it didn't gravitate with the rest of it, but I did watch it today. So I didn't just watch the highlights. I
thought it was the best match of the night. I watched, I got up early for whatever reason. I was good with 5 hours of sleep today. So I was sitting there and I watched the other matches as well. This was although I enjoyed the Cody Rhodes match more than I thought I was going to enjoy it.
I like Bowens and Darby. I thought it was pretty good.
You thought that was good? Okay.
I thought it was pretty good.
All right.
I like Bowens. I think he's good.
Okay. I like the table to be like, that's not going to work for me.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Zambrano coming for you. He says, man, crying about one spot in a whole match of brutal spots where they went for it so hard. Ew.
I could cry about more. But I just chose those two because they were glaringly obvious.
Fair enough. Zambrano did donate here a super chat that Swole acting like Khan is white and people like Brandy and Sean don't exist, and saying there's NPO dark-skinned Latinos when Red Velvet is right there is way more offensive to me as a Latino immigrant. All right, Zambrano, you got a right to your point of view for sure, but just because Khan is a person of color does not mean that he's not also a businessman who believes certain things make more money than other things. So there's plenty of self-hating people in minority groups. Let me just put that out there, and you fucking know it, Zambrano, being a part of the Latino nation. There are those Latinos who hate themselves, hate Latinos, hate being Latino, wish they were white. We all fucking have them in our ethnic groups. So I get what you're saying, but I also think you got to create space that other possibilities are here as well as I create space for your possibility, brother. Anything on that one there, Aaron?
Did you see the segment with Brandy Rhodes and Dan Lambert from Dynamite?
Yeah.
So Brandy Rhodes comes out and it is confronted by Dan Lambert of American Top Team, and she says, "Oh, Dan Lambert, well, you're a black belt? Well, I'm a black bitch. Let's go." And I'm like, who writes this shit? Like, who wrote that and thought, this is cool? This is cool. I'm a black bitch, man. And then they made a t-shirt.
Yeah.
I'm here to tell you guys, like, I know we joke about like me being like on the pulse of black wrestling Twitter. I'll tell you this. Black wrestling Twitter hated that shit. I'll tell you that right now. So fucking awful, terrible, cringe. Can't defend it. Just awful.
Yeah.
So,
Efron Guzman says, I know this is personal commentary, but do you think Sammy and Tay was messing around while he was with his ex in the vlogs? Tay was always in his vlogs. Now it seems they're both a couple. Thoughts? Well, I'm going to let Aaron take the lead on this one. He likes to comment on the gossip.
Relationship gossip. Welcome to the Strong Style Relationship segment.
It's a new element of the show. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so Sammy Guevara had commented on Twitter, I think like maybe before Christmas, that him and his fiance Pam were splitting up, and Pam, like they had gotten engaged on, I believe, an episode of Dynamite or Rampage or something, or in the arena or something that happened. So like, yay, and they were splitting up. That's always sad. You never want to split up. And then, like I think a little bit before that, someone had asked Ty Conti if she was still married or whatever,
right?
Because they never saw her husband or anything, and she said, "No, we were separated a while ago." So people kind of started putting two and two together, because Sammy does his vlogs and Ty Conti's always in them because I guess they travel together and they're friends, which it's not weird, by the way, that they were maybe dating or something. And it was kind of like this thing where people were like, oh my God, like when Sammy put that tweet that said, him and his fiance had broken up, people were like, oh, I bet it's because he's banging Ty Conti and all this kind of stuff, to the point where Ty Conti deleted her Twitter, and that's always shitty. But she's back now. And she just didn't want to address it, and okay. And then last night for New Year's, there was a picture that Sammy Guevara put up of him and Ty Conti kissing and saying, Happy New Year. So it looks like they maybe are a couple. As far as like messing around with your fiance, if that is true, that's never cool. Don't do that. That it can cause irreparable harm to not only yourself, but the psyche of the person you're doing it to. Don't fucking do that. It ain't cool. If you can't follow through on your commitments, don't fucking do that. So I hope that's not the case. But yeah, it looks like Ty Conti and Sammy Guevara are indeed together now.
Sorry, Zeno Hour says Tay ignored all of his DMs. That's a shame.
Sorry.
I mean, it happens, dude. I mean, this is professional, anything, right? In any business, when you're working around people and you're around them all the time, and your significant other isn't there all the time, and maybe there are already cracks in that relationship, or there are issues with your commitment to that relationship, then it's going to get exposed, especially when there's temptation around. So we don't know what the conversations were between Sammy and his fiance. We don't know what the conversations with her between Sammy and Ty. Maybe these feelings developed and they're like, okay, what do we do with this? That does happen. Welcome to real life. It's a matter of how you address it and how you deal with it, right? If Sammy was straight up and told his fiance, like, hey, this is happening for me, or hey, I'm having issues with my feelings, or I'm getting cold feet, or the closer we get to marriage, the less I feel like you're the right one for me. That's a tough situation to be in, man. Him posting that picture after all the drama, though, it doesn't play well, in my opinion. I think you let that thing sit for a bit, especially because they just broke up. So, because clearly you don't just find someone attractive who you've been working with all of a sudden overnight after you break up. Clearly there was interest here. There was attraction rather. And now he's allowed to act on it because he's not technically connected to a fiance. So it rings bad. It doesn't feel good, but welcome to the world of professional wrestling. It happens all the fucking time. Need I mention Triple H, China, and Stephanie? It happens all the fucking time, no matter if you're the top guy, the middle guy, an up-and-coming guy, or girl. It doesn't matter. That stuff's going to happen, unfortunately. And so it's a part of it, but it's as old, it's as, I don't know, it's as American as apple pie, man. We've seen it happen in a million things for sure. And I do want to say one more thing here. Zambrano came back and said, that's the thing. Velvet, Jade, Nyla, they all got better and got pushed. Dante Martin, same thing. Swole never got better and didn't get her contract renewed. I hear you, Daniel, but that doesn't invalidate her point of view. If she felt like this is a situation that was happening, there's nothing wrong with saying, I'm going to talk to Swole and see her point and see what she has to say. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. So it's her experience. Other people being successful or getting pushed who are people of color doesn't necessarily invalidate what she's going, because you don't know what they're doing, what they've been saying, what they're ignoring because they want something else and don't care about the other stuff that they're seeing happening. You don't know. So that I'm saying, it's just because someone is just because other people of color are being moved up, it does not mean her experience is invalid somehow. And Perfect Q says diversity is not just black people, just so you know. Yes, as a Latino, child of immigrants, yes, I fucking know. Perfect Q. So, all right, let's move on here. Let's move on to our next thing. I don't think I've got any more Streamlabs, but if you want to send them in, the Streamlabs address is right there above Aaron's head. It's in the description of this video and pinned in the chat. So let's move on. I think Anna Jay is going to be vying for that title sooner rather than later, brother. I think she took a next step, a really big step after this match for sure, because she owned that ring when she was in it.
Well, I think people really like Anna Jay, not because she's attractive. Like, obviously, she's very attractive.
Oh, that's an element of it for sure.
Of course, but she also just, it seems like when you watch her, like, since she came into AEW, she had, like, the Zatanna gimmick. Like, she was, like, the magic girl or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was cool. Then she moved on to the Dark Order. And it looks like she's really grown from that spot, which is what you want to see in a young talent progressing. So, and last night, to even put yourself in a match like that, most women, I think, in wrestling wouldn't do that.
Right.
Dare I say. I don't think most men would either. But she, like, to go into something like that, put the barbed wire around your arm, even though we all know it's a gimmick. We're not stupid. Mm-hmm. But to do something like that, I think was really cool. And she had some cool moves, man. She, like, did the flatliner on the chair. She did the superplex. Like, that was cool. It was cool. Yeah. She had some really good spots in that. She was probably the winner of that whole exchange. I thought she looked great.
I would agree with you. Yeah, Bunny gets the attention for the blood, but I think Anna Jay gets the attention from people who are watching for the wrestling for sure. Absolutely. So, all right, let's move on to our next section here as we go into the last half hour of the show. What do we got here, Aaron?
Dun, 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 dun,
do we have music for this? We should have done a thing for this.
So we have our first annual STRONGIE Awards, where we're going to review some topics. I think we should start from the bottom because I think we need to leave best wrestlers for last. So
sure.
So Rocha and I kind of, like, we didn't combine to do one thing. So I have mine, he has his.
Yes.
So we'll give you the topic. If you guys want to throw yours in the chat, feel free, of course.
Yeah.
So, and then we'll just get right into it. So the first category I came up with was the worst moment in wrestling of the year. Now, this could have been anything from, I don't know, like something really fucking terrible. So
from anywhere. Yeah.
So my winner was the Kenny Omega John Moxley exploding ring from AEW Revolution, or lack thereof, when the ring really didn't explode and it was really fucking stupid. Very close second was Chris Jericho falling onto cardboard and then trying to tell everybody it was metal. So that was mine. Kenny and Kenny and Moxley. That was mine. So what do you got?
Yeah. For mine, the worst moment of the year was, and I've said this, went off on this on the show, so I'm not going to go too much off on this, was Becky Lynch beating Bianca Belair. I think it was at SummerSlam after she came back in like 28 seconds. That was the worst moment of the year. Yes, it was nice that Becky was back. Everybody wanted Becky back, but not like this, as someone said in The Matrix once, not like this. This isn't the way to come back to defeat your black champion that you've been building up and is strong as hell and can absolutely throw Becky around the ring, to have her job, and that's essentially what that was, a job to Becky Lynch in 28 seconds, was an insult to Bianca Belair and what she had done and all the work she had done to build herself up as an athlete, to build herself up from almost losing the plot in NXT to becoming a champion there on the main roster in the WWE. So to me, I thought it was the most horrible way to bring Becky Lynch back. I thought it was a terrible way to insult Bianca Belair. And now they moved her completely off the roster where she would face Becky again after having a couple of shots and Becky winning still. It was ridiculous. So to me, it was such an insult to both Becky and Bianca that they decided to bring her back in this way. Now, did Becky make the most of it down the road? Yes, I enjoy the heel angle that Becky is playing all around. I've enjoyed that for sure, but the way they brought her back was just absolutely an insult, and bad look, bad optics in 2021 for sure.
A lot of people are saying the firings are the worst moment, and yeah, that's obviously fucking terrible. But I was just trying to keep it the stuff that happened in the ring. But okay, I hear you. You had a couple people that agreed with you about that part. Roberto Arsenal said the egg hunt at Survivor Series. Yeah, that was pretty shitty. That was pretty awful.
I forgot about the zombie lumberjack.
We'll get to it. Don't worry, we'll get to it. So let's try to wash this away with the best moment of wrestling in 2021, and you and I had the same moment. This is one of the few that we actually had the same thing. Yeah. And how could it be anything else other than Bray Wyatt returning at wrestling? No, it's CM Punk returning to pro wrestling on AEW Rampage. A thunderous ovation for the man that had been gone for 7 years, had been done wrong by the WWE. He comes back to AEW, cuts an electric promo, one of the loudest crowd reactions in the history of the business. Just unbelievable. Great moment all around for pro wrestling and everything.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed with you, man. I was just strolling through Twitter yesterday or 2 days ago, I think, and Paul Walter Hauser tweeted out how he was on a set, snuck off under a production overhang where nobody could find him so that he could watch the moment live on his phone. And that tells you the level to which people who are true wrestling fans were excited to have CM Punk back. The MMA shit didn't matter. The 7 years of the lawsuits and the back and forth and the fallout with Colt Cabana and the grousing about certain wrestlers, none of that mattered. People love CM Punk, love it at a bone deep level because he is a rebel, because right or wrong, he'll tell you his truth. And as I said, whether he's right or wrong, he's going to tell you his truth, and it's up to you to accept it or not accept it. And that feels authentic to the wrestling fan. And bringing him back in Chicago and him coming out and delivering a monster fucking promo about the situation, hugging people at ringside as he was walking up before he even got in the ring, hugging people at ringside, and then getting up there and savoring and appreciating the love. I mean, people were crying in the stadium. I'd never seen anything like that. People didn't cry for Hogan. I'd never seen anything like that. I mean, when he came back, people didn't do that. They were just happy that he was back. But seeing men crying that CM Punk was back in their lives shows you how much of an impact, for lack of a better term, that man has for people and what he represents for certain people who are wrestling fans. And it was incredible. I loved it. I loved every single second of it, man.
Outside of, there's nothing I could really think of that could have topped it. Like maybe Stone Cold Steve Austin coming out of retirement to wrestle again. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah. But that was just tops. Like even Adam Cole debuting in AEW was huge, and Bryan Danielson debuting was huge, and Brock Lesnar coming back was big, and John Cena coming back to face Roman Reigns was cool. Yeah. But it just, man, nothing compared to it. Nothing.
Nope, nothing. It was it crossed into mainstream media, bro. When they're talking about on ESPN or in ET or Entertainment Tonight or whatever, that's crossing over. When they're it's that level, that means something for sure. Space Windu says, I'll never understand the hype, but that's me. That is just you.
Come on, bro.
Respect.
Come on.
Respect.
All
right. Oh, Xavier Black Wiley said the best moment of 2021 was Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair's WrestleMania, hands down. As a black wrestling fan, that was the most important thing to me, even though the Becky thing was very disrespectful. Yeah, I agree, Xavier. And we're going to talk about it. So let's put a pin on your
we'll put a
comment.
Pin in that one.
Yeah, and we'll get back to it for sure. But thank you very much for the super chat, Xavier. And please keep sending them in, ladies and gentlemen, super chats and Streamlabs. All right, what's next, Aaron?
The worst female match of the year. I have.
Yeah.
Poor Alexa Bliss versus Eva Marie from SummerSlam, because Alexa Bliss is a very popular person. This character sucks. She's in a high-profile match at a high-profile pay-per-view against somebody that's absolutely terrible. And it was awful. Yeah. So I pinned that one because you expect so much more out of the WWE and Alexa Bliss, and this was fucking terrible. So yeah, that's how I made my list.
For me, my answer is Alexa. It was Alexa Bliss again, but this time against Shayna Baszler. That match that they had earlier this year, Shayna Baszler, I mean, she wipes the floor with Alexa Bliss. No offense, but the way they played it and the way they had her like kind of get into it, then they had other people get involved, and in the end, and then she somehow mesmerized Nia Jax. All of that was so fucking stupid. I mean, this gimmick of Alexa's, as soon as Bray was gone, it became a fucking joke. I don't care what anybody says. And I love Alexa Bliss. I love Alexa Bliss. But you got to tell the truth in your feelings. And to me, that gimmick, as soon as Bray Wyatt left, and we'll get to that, was a horrific gimmick that just completely betrayed her. And as well as she had worked to make that gimmick work with Bray, it was destroyed by the booking they did with her and that stupid fucking doll. And having her, Eva Marie stuff, they're slapping the doll around. That was dumb. But that match was only 4 minutes or 5 minutes. This was a longer match and dealt with way more bullshit within it to make it possible for Shayna Baszler to lose to Alexa Bliss. It was ridiculous. And Shayna, once again, you undercut Shayna. You undercut what she can do by making her job out or lose out rather to these situations. It was ridiculous and it was stupid and unnecessary, but that's the lengths they had to go to make you believe that Alexa Bliss would actually have a shot against Shayna Baszler in a match. Just dumb, man.
Is that where she cursed Shayna Baszler and her knee gave out or something?
Yes.
That's fucking stupid. You're right.
So
stupid.
Dumb. Yeah.
All right, let's go with the worst male match of 2021, and it happens to be both from WWE again. My worst match is The Miz versus Damian Priest in a zombie lumberjack match.
There you go.
From Backlash, which was sponsored by Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead, starring Dave Bautista. It was fucking terrible. After the Bad Bunny tag match they had at WrestleMania was quite good. This was the shits and awful and should have never been on television. And the fact that WWE did it is ridiculous.
The movie is good. This match was stupid. I mean,
easy on the movie there. Easy.
When you talk about synergy, and I get it, it's become a funny thing to make fun of. But when you talk about synergy, sometimes you can just make the biggest mistakes. I mean, WCW made some terrible mistakes back in the 90s, kind of wrapping in certain things. What was the Mortal Kombat one? That was terrible, having those people become Mortal Kombat wrestlers. And there's some of the commercials that they were involved in were just really stupid. And I thought we were done with that. I thought we were done with those mistakes. And then here comes the Miz and Damian Priest match. Essentially, hold my beer. Let me show you how bad it can actually be. And those zombies and all of that, whenever they do shit like that, it goes back to the shit they hated back in the late 80s, early 90s, when you have those characters and it doesn't work anymore because people want authenticity. And these two are such incredible wrestlers. They didn't need that extra nonsense, dude. Just let them fight, and find some other way to weave in Army of the Dead and promoting Dave Bautista's film, so just I hated that too. But for me, it was The Fiend with Alexa versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania. Talk about a massive wet fart of a match where people had expectations were through the roof of what they were going to get. This kicked off, I think, night 2 of WrestleMania 37.
Yeah, I was there.
Right? You were there. People were so excited for this match. And I think was it the Fiend coming back after a long time being injured or whatever? And he comes back, and Alexa ends up turning on the Fiend to help Randy. Yeah. And then eventually the Fiend is gone from the WWE within a few weeks. And it was just not a good match. It was you constantly sensed that Alexa was going to turn, and it just ended up playing out to be such a flaccid match between two men who could have delivered an epic, memorable match that would have gone down in the annals of WrestleMania as one of the greatest ever matches. And you pissed it away so you could promote Alexa Bliss and that stupid fucking gimmick. To me, it just absolutely shit the bed, and having her come out and covered in the blood, the black blood and all of that just was so dumb. What a terrible thing to throw into WrestleMania, considering how much people loved the John Cena Fiend situation from WrestleMania from 2 years ago. To follow the Fiend up with this was such a slap in the face, man. And these creative people should be fucking ashamed that they put that up in the greatest event of the year in the WWE and WrestleMania. So yeah,
it's pretty awful. Like if there was a payoff, there would be something else. But there's no payoff. We never found out why. We never found out what the goo was, and it was just never. Both of those characters never went anywhere again. Like the Fiend never went anywhere, and neither did the Alexa thing. Never went anywhere.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, what's our next thing, brother man?
Oh God, let's get to the good stuff. So I'm talking about shit that I like. This is the best match of the year, female. I chose another match from WrestleMania 37. Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Main evented night 1 of WrestleMania 37. What a moment. What a match between an up-and-comer and a veteran in Sasha Banks. And I tell you, I rewatched this one the other day because I wanted some fresh perspective, some fresh eyes on it. And it gets better every time because Bianca Belair really showed what it means to be not only a great athlete, what it means to be a great wrestler and a great performer. And I think that Sasha Banks proved that she can cut an amazing pace. She can tell a great story in the ring, and she took an ass whooping like a champ. Yeah. And I think both women turned it out, made this thing way better than I think anyone thought it would be. And I think they both looked like $10 million. And it just makes that whole Becky and Belair thing terrible, even more so. Yeah. And I just think it's a landmark match, not only for women's wrestling, but black wrestling and in general. I think it's a big, big thing, and it should not be understated.
Absolutely. And we'll bring back Xavier Black Wiley super chat here, saying for him the best moment of 2020 was the Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair WrestleMania match. I agree with you. This would have been my number 1 too, except Aaron took it, so I wanted to give a highlight to something else, but I want to give my 2 cents. 2 black women fighting to headline a night 1 of WrestleMania for the title is incredible. It was unheard of in the WWE, and you thought that this was another step forward for the company, that they would be going forward with this. But as you end your super chat here, even though the Becky thing was very disrespectful, then they walked backwards by doing the Becky thing with Bianca Belair. But this match itself was epic. People were crying. Black Wrestling Twitter, if I can speak on that, certainly was very emotional about it. Sasha Banks herself was crying at the end of that match just because of the historical moment that this was. And Bianca's hair became a thing. To get whipped by that hair and have it leave a scar on Sasha's stomach or side there, 2 scars. I just showed you the ferocity of this match. And it was a coming out party for Bianca, full on for everybody to see. Her walking up the steps with Sasha in full press mode.
Incredible.
Was incredible. And Sasha knowing that for once, Sasha could put another black woman over, I think must have been such a joy for her, because remember, Sasha was the one and done constantly. Couldn't keep the belt for more than one match, couldn't defend it for more than much. And so to have her defend it for a while and then be able to give back and have Bianca take the reins was a great moment. It was a great moment for sure.
My wife was watching, like, kind of strolled in when I was watching it. She goes, "Why is her ponytail like that? Like, how's that fair? Like, what if she uses it as a weapon?" I said, "Yeah, but what if they use it against her?"
Yeah.
And Sasha did. She used it against her. She pulled her through the pole on the outside and smashed her face into the pole. And I was like, "See, that's why."
Exactly.
There was a comment. Go ahead.
Well, if you want to hit the comment on this match, sure. But then I've got a different match, of course. But I'll get to it in just a second. What's the comment?
Perfect Q said, "Why do we have to point out they were black women and not just two elite wrestlers, Bianca and Sasha?" The reason that I pointed out was because it's important. It's important. It's not something we see every day. It's not like every WrestleMania main event. It would be different if every WrestleMania main event, or 50% of them up until this time, was two black wrestlers in the main event. I don't think that's ever happened before. That's why it's important to state that, because it's being represented.
You're gonna make me blow a fucking gasket.
I'm trying not to. I'm trying to calmly state what's happening. But that's it. I did watch Crown Jewel. I know that's like a lot of people said Edge and Seth Rollins should be like the match of the year. I didn't watch Crown Jewel, so I cannot, and I will not. So
for personal, I respect that. Perfect Q. The reason it's pointed out is because it's never happened before and it's historic. Okay. And that's why it's pointed out. And don't be ignorant about it because you fucking know why we're saying it. I don't put up with that shit on this show. So don't bring your crap here, man. All right. We know why it was historic. It's historic because two black women headlining WrestleMania never happens. Yes, they're also phenomenal athletes, top of their game, incredible. But professional wrestling is subjective by the owner. The owner decides who the fuck is leading, who's going to be ending. And I think it was up in the air up until almost the start of the pay-per-view, whether they were going to headline the end of night one. So it wasn't a given. Okay. It wasn't even a given before the pay-per-view fucking started. So the fact that they did it was incredible. So it's momentous and it matters and it's historic. So stop being ignorant. Stop being obtuse. All right. For me, the best female match was the Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker match from AEW Dynamite. Also two women headlining the end of a show here with those two and having a woman of color like Thunder Rosa involved. This match was incredible from pillar to post. One of the greatest matches I've seen. Could possibly rival NXT TakeOver Brooklyn match with Sasha and Bayley. This one was incredible, but this was incredible because two reasons. One, more of the mainstream public got to see what Thunder Rosa can do as a wrestler. It really put her on the map. And two, it elevated Britt Baker. She finally crossed that line into being a damn good wrestler and future championship material. And the ladies gave all that they could in this match, and they were incredible. And at the end, the pin was believable, and both of those ladies came out of that match having elevated their separate brands into the sky, into space, and it was incredible to watch. Britt Baker got a T-shirt out of it, which I almost bought.
And a figure
for Black Friday, and a figure out of respect for what she was able to do, and also her crimson mask showing you what she was willing to commit to become a champion when so many people are giving her crap for being a pretty face, being a dentist, being a part-time wrestler, all that stuff. She overcame all of it in a phenomenal match, and Thunder Rosa deserves all kinds of credit for putting her over in that way because she also delivered a hell of a match and sold a lot of what Britt Baker was doing.
I'll tell you why I didn't pick this match. The reason I rewatched this one too, because I was having a hard time deciding. And I think that the reason I didn't pick this one is because as I'm watching it, I'm just like, it's too much because they had a rivalry. Yeah, this was a good blow off, but it's like, it felt like after a while, they're just trying to get their shit in. And in that, I mean, like, all right, well, Rosa hits her with a big move through a table. It's like, all right. And they don't even let it breathe before, like, Rosa's picking her up. Now we got thumbtacks. Now we got chairs. Now we got this shit. And I'm just like, dude, slow down and let's let it breathe. Now, that's not saying it wasn't a good match. Obviously, it was top 2 of the year for me. But I thought it was just a little too much. I think Thunder Rosa is amazing. I think that her X23 thing that she did on Dynamite that I sent to you, amazing, great. I think she's great. I think she's got the right personality. She's got the right, even with her small frame, she makes up for it because she's got such big personality and she's bigger than she is, I feel like. And I love Rocha, and I love Britt Baker, of course, but I just thought that it wasn't where Sasha and Bianca were more of a. I think it's because it was more of a traditional match for me. You know, I don't like the blood and guts kind of stuff, though I did like that match a lot. I just think Bianca and Sasha, more of a grounded wrestling match that I like, is the difference between the two.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. Absolutely. Okay. Oh, it's not that I don't disagree with you. It's more a matter of I see your point of view. I see your point of view, and I understand. But imagine Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker with the WrestleMania WWE machine behind them. It would have delivered an even better match if that's possible on their end. But these two ladies are going to meet again, and I think when they do for the belt, it's going to be lights out incredible. Lights out incredible.
I think that Rosa should be the one to take it from her.
Yes, agreed. 1,000%.
I think that would be good. Yeah. All right, so let's move on. Let's talk about the best match of the year for the male division. I'm going to let you go first.
Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson. That's the one from a couple weeks ago. I mean, we did the watch along, and it was an incredible match from top to bottom. And I enjoyed the hell out of it. Wait. That's not the one we did the watch along of.
Yeah, it is.
Hangman Adam Page is the one we did the watch along.
Oh, you're talking about Omega. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Kenny Omega versus Danielson from a few weeks ago. It was an incredible, or a few months ago, it was an incredible match for both of these guys. Danielson coming in. What kind of Danielson are we going to get? Are we going to get the jobber Danielson? Are we going to get the limited Danielson? Not at all. This match was the coming out of the kind of wrestler we were going to get from Bryan Danielson in the AEW. This was Danielson with the WWE chains off of him, and going back to the old school wrestling in the high school gyms, Bryan Danielson, and it was phenomenal to watch. And Kenny had a miraculous year overall. We'll get to that. But this match, Kenny, it looked like he was loving every second of it, being able to go old school again with someone who was old school just like him, who has been around, who's done wrestled in many countries, did the whole thing of building himself up, never fully got the 100% rub that he should have gotten. And so these guys meeting at that time, it was an incredible match. I didn't want it to end. And when it ended, I just was sitting back going, man, thank you, Jesus, for me being alive to be able to see these two guys deliver such a stellar match. But yes, the Hangman Page Danielson match was incredible as well. But this one, I just think, because I think Kenny's a better wrestler than Hangman Page myself personally, I enjoyed the hell out of both of these guys going at it and giving everything they got and showing you almost every tool in their toolbox.
All right. Well, everybody knows I hate AEW, so how dare I pick an AEW match for the best match of the year? It's not going to happen. I'm going with the WWE UK Championship match between Walter and Ilya Dragunov from NXT TakeOver 36 for the same reason that I took the Bianca and Sasha one, because it's such a grounded wrestlers wrestling match. Mm-hmm. It's so fucking good in the sense that you have a smaller guy in Dragunov. Though Dragunov is a smaller guy, he's ripped to the gills and he's just ferocious. The eyes, the way that this guy moves, like he's like a honey badger. Like he's never going to stop. Like he's never ever going to stop. And Walter's just been this big, like almost like Schwarzenegger villain guy, like just stoic, knows how to beat you. Like you can get running and drop kick him and do all these things, and then all of a sudden he punches you once or chops you, God forbid, and you're just dead. And then it just like it worked itself so well to a classic wrestling match. It's excellent, man. It's just an excellent match. I think that it'll be studied for years to come. Like when people are going into the WWE and they need to look at tape, hey, look at Dragunov and Walter from TakeOver. And same thing with Omega and Danielson. Of course, it's a great match. Hangman and Danielson's great. I also considered Kingston and Punk. I thought that was a great match. They told a great story.
Yep.
And I just thought of all the matches, I think that one really, for me, just set the tone.
Yeah. And I totally respect that choice, man. A lot of people immediately when that match was over said this is going to be the match of the year. So great choice by you, man. All right, where are we going next, brother, man?
All right, so this is the worst gimmick of the year. This is not separated by male, female. This is just what's the worst gimmick. I chose scary Alexa Bliss. Here we go again. Alexa Bliss just getting dumped on by us.
All right, Alexa.
It's terrible. It's awful. It kind of was cool when she was with Bray Wyatt, and then when she broke off, it sucked. The Black Goose sucked. Lily sucked. The magic stuff sucked. The things she did with when she wrestled Randy Orton at a pay-per-view, that sucked. It just, without Bray Wyatt, it doesn't work. And it sucked. That's all I can really say. And she was bad at it most of the time.
Yeah.
So, sorry, Alexa.
Yeah. My answer for worst gimmick, and I agree, certainly. And this is I don't know, this might offend some people, but Alexa Bliss's former tag team partner, the Nikki ASH stuff, I don't understand why people loved it. I thought it was kind of terrible from the beginning. I appreciated the fact that she went to the WWE and was like, I want to do something different. They liked it. But one of the things the thing we loved about Nikki Cross was the ferocity, was the animalistic nature of her wrestling. That's what got her over. Mm-hmm. To remove it and turn into a version of the female Hurricane Helms made her a clown. And then when she won the belt, they took it away from her within 2 weeks. It was ridiculous. And so to me, I think it did, in the long run, more damage to her overall reputation and her overall acceptance within the WWE universe than good. It did more harm than good in the long run, because initially the reaction of the fans was positive, but then as they went along, she just became essentially a glorified jobber. Yep. And so no matter how many belts you put on her, people are just waiting for her to lose it immediately after she gets it. And so to me, it totally undercut what was the thing about Nikki Cross that made us love her. Now, it may be that Nikki, getting married, changed, maybe this just changed. She got back in better shape for herself overall, not that she needed to, but for herself overall, she said, that's great. So maybe things changed for her where she felt, this is more accurate to who I am, and more power to you. But I just think the ferocity that we first got to know her with is what sells her, what makes her great. So when she re-embraces that again down the road, I think she's going to be an even more viable title contender after having had this experience as Nikki ASH, because I think it's horrific and people love it. I just absolutely hated it, man.
Yeah. I can remember like a couple months ago that I said, so they gave her the belt, and we'll see what WWE thinks of Nikki ASH for how long she holds the belt. She held it for like 2 weeks. 2 weeks. So they didn't give a shit. Nope. Then she became tag partners with Rhea Ripley, which really didn't go anywhere because that women's tag team division is awful. Yeah. So yeah, it's been bad. It's been really bad. Bearcat Keith Lee comes to mind.
That was bad.
Karrion Kross the Gladiator. It's bad.
That was bad.
Yeah, there's some bad shit. Zaya, what was Zia Lee's like manager or whatever in NXT? That was bad.
Oh yeah.
A lot of bad WWE shit. I can't really say so much for AEW. Like, I know you guys are trying to troll me with trying to get me to say the Dark Order sucks. It sucks. So I don't have to tell you that. But I can't really think of anything in AEW that was atrocious where it's like, God, this is awful. So they're safe. They're safe this time.
Yeah, I guess so. All right. What's our next Strongie Award, my man, that we're handing out?
The next Strongie we're handing out is for the best gimmick. We're getting to the tippy top here, guys.
Nice.
So I'm going best gimmick. This might surprise people. I'm going with Miro the Redeemer. Because I fucking hated when Miro first came in and he's wearing like the Mickey Mouse Gucci pants and he looks like a fucking dork. And then they put him with Kip Sabian and made him an even bigger dork. Yeah. I know that he likes to play video games in real life. I know he does his Twitch and stuff. That's cool. We don't need to have an arcade street fight where we have like a ball pit and crap. Like, we don't need that. And then he decided he completely changed it up. He beat up Kip Sabian. Yep. And then he said, you know what? I'm just going to be Miro the Redeemer. I'm God's favorite champion, this or that. And I just thought it was really cool. I thought it made him look like a badass. I know he's been hurt. He lost the TNT title to Sammy Guevara. It's whatever, but I think that was like the biggest. If there was like a comeback player of the year award, that would be Miro. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah. That's a great choice, brother, man. I know it's kind of out of left field, but I think it's a brilliant choice. You have a way of, kind of picking these things that people could have a hard time arguing with. that you defend really, really well. For me, my gimmick of the year is Brock Lesnar going baby face.
Fair enough.
I think that was nobody knew what to expect when he was coming back. What were they going to do with him? What was it going to be? People are going to be bored seeing him take on Reigns again. How do you make people stop feeling like, oh, it's the same thing over and over again? And people said he's no good on the mic. That's why he needed Heyman. He doesn't deliver great promos. Lesnar destroyed every possible criticism, right? Every possible criticism that has ever been doled out at Brock Lesnar's expense by coming back in this way. What he's doing now with Sami Zayn is next level brilliant shit in terms of the back and forth and the humor and all the jokes. The stuff with Heyman now with Reigns, all of it has been working so well. It reminds me of that moment when he came and he was using the Money in the Bank as a boombox. That was just a window, right? It was a window into the kind of humor Lesnar can mine and do really well. And him coming back with the hair pulled back, the ponytail, and the beard grown out, the ripped flannel, all of it has worked so fucking well. I did not anticipate enjoying him as a face. I always thought, well, he's not that good on the mic and blah, blah, blah. But he totally turned that around. His timing has been on point. He looks reborn. And he looks even more interesting. And all the people who've complained about him being a part-time wrestler can be quiet, because full-time wrestlers can't get over the way he does with a gimmick like this. And it's just brilliant, just absolutely brilliant. So that was my favorite thing to watch this year in terms of gimmicks this year.
I love me some Brock Lesnar. Like, I'm not one of these guys that hates him for being the part-time. He's a fucking bounty hunter. Like, he comes in, he's like, oh, you need me to do a job? You're going to pay me for it? Okay, I'll do it. Brock Lesnar always does what's asked of him. Like, we need you to make Goldberg look convincing. He fucking did it. We need you to put on a banger with Bryan Danielson, who's much smaller than you. He did it. CM Punk, he did it. AJ Styles, he did it. You know, we need you to go in there against Braun Strowman and make it look good, or Samoa Joe, and he did it. And we need you to beat up on Cena. He did it. We need you to come back to face Roman Reigns and do this whole thing with Paul Heyman, but we want you to talk more. And we want you to do this thing with Sami Zayn and be funny. And he did it. Dude. So it's like, what else can you ask of Brock Lesnar? He's done it all. He's great. I think he's an all-timer.
I agree with you. And the thing is, absolutely. That's a great point. Absolutely, Aaron. He's an all-timer. And listen, for all the stuff you just mentioned, all the stuff in the ring, what he's done with Zayn's one of the best in terms of comedic timing and being unstable and all this, that throws off a lot of people. Not everyone can hang with Sami Zayn because he is brilliant at what he does. Lesnar has gone toe-to-toe with this guy, and it's been brilliant to watch. And yeah, maybe Sami Zayn is verbally getting him over with some of these things, but Lesnar, I mean, that whole sequence a few weeks ago where he's in the ring with the wheelchair and he's got the two orderlies with him, and Lesnar's talking to him and then just kind of loses it on him. It's just brilliant shit, man. And Zayn must be having so much fun doing this with him. I mean, that one was grabbing him and shaking his neck. Just all of it, genius stuff. And so nothing but appreciation for what he's doing.
They're just two guys from Canada. There's two Canadians.
Yeah, and they're just having fun.
That's where Sammy's from, and that's where Brock Lesnar currently lives, which I don't think a lot of people knew because they were like really confused that he said that. But yeah, Brock Lesnar lives in Canada. It's funny.
Yeah,
makes a lot of sense. So he's fighting Roman Reigns tonight at WWE Day 1. So we'll see what happens there. I think they're going to extend the program to WrestleMania because it makes the most sense. But
God, I hope so. Do you think he'll take him? Do you think he'll be willing to take the belt off Reigns?
No.
Okay. All right. A lot of people saying he's going to lose tonight, then step aside for McIntyre. We shall see.
We'll see.
All right. Well, let's see. King Sport Cal sent to the super chat. Hey guys, I don't know shit about wrestling. I just want to wish Rocha and the Outlaw Nation a happy New Year. I'm still watching, brother. Thank you, Mr. Calvin. Good to see you, Calvin. Thank you very much, brother, man. Happy New Year to you too. All right, Aaron, what's our next thing?
All right, so we got the best female wrestler of the year. The best, not the worst.
Right.
And because I don't like worst wrestler, I think that's like, it's arbitrary. I've never been in a wrestling ring. Anyway, I have Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, because like we talked about already, she went from wrestler that was okay, kind of good on the mic, to established superstar, pillar of the company, somebody you could really, really get behind. Great baby face, even though she's supposed to be a heel. People get behind her. People like to see her.
Yeah.
She's done decent in her run as champion. She's a believable champion. She went to the next level. So for me, it's the DMD.
Okay. All right. Respect. And look, that's a great choice. Certainly, like I mentioned earlier, her match with Thunder Rosa is my female match of the year. That was where she elevated to superstar status, to title contending status, and has been an incredible champion ever since. For me, it's Bianca Belair for kind of the same reasons you just laid out, Aaron. As I said earlier, she had been heralded in NXT. People were loving her matches. And then she kind of overstayed her time there, and she was starting to tumble down the pecking order. Then the WWE snatches her out, puts her up into a SmackDown, and she is reborn with all these incredible opportunities. And then again, kind of gets a little bit lost in the booking, and then boom, sent into the stratosphere. They finally understand what they have in her. They have her up against Sasha in that incredible match at WrestleMania, and then they let her run wild on the mic, and she is incredible delivering the promos that she delivers. That stuff with Tennessee, the University of just great stuff in everything she's been doing, and even the back and forth with her and Becky Lynch. I think so far she's the only one that's been able to hang with Becky and not let it get personal like Charlotte did on the mic. And that's been phenomenal to watch. And so to me, she was my female wrestler of the year. Also, because, hey, she's a Black female wrestler, and they don't usually get pushed by the big corporate powers that be in wrestling. And so to see her kind of come up the way she has and accomplish what she has, it's been incredible to watch. And she's a natural athlete, bro. And she's only, 27? It's insane. Or 28? It's insane.
I saw in the chat that somebody said Deonna Purrazzo. I love Deonna Purrazzo. I put her in the thumbnail to acknowledge her because I think she's wonderful. I think that the Mickie James match really knocked her down a peg because I think they forgot that Deonna was really good. And they thought that Mickie James would bring more eyes to Impact, and she fucking hasn't. No offense to Mickie James, she just hasn't. But Deonna's your talent there. But yeah, Bianca Belair, I mean, come on. Like this is like Mike Trout. This is like your fucking Patrick Mahomes. Like this is your franchise player that you just go, whoa, that's something different. Or if you want me to compare it to them, they're female, it's like Diana Taurasi from Connecticut. Like when she comes in, just starts, or Candace. I almost said Candace Parker. That ain't right. I forget her name, but anyway, like she's just one of these people that you're just like, whoa. Every time you see her, you're like, whoa. So
yeah. Agreed. Yeah. So, and going to the next level now, I hope they find a way to weave her back into these title pictures, bro, and put a belt on her again, because she deserves it, for God's sakes.
Oh, I was right. It is Candace Parker. I was thinking of Candace Owens. Fuck Candace Owens. Yay, Candace Parker.
Yes, Candace Parker is fantastic. Yeah. All right. Let's move on to our last one. I don't see any Streamlabs or Super Chats that have come through, so let's move on to our last Strongie here. Aaron, what is it?
This is the best male wrestler of 2021. This is the last Strongie of the year, and mine has to go to acknowledge him, the tribal chief, the head of the table, most importantly, the star of Hobbs and Shaw, Fast and Furious. It is
no lines. Yeah, no lines.
Roman Reigns. He is officially acknowledged. You want to talk about a guy that came back, that a gimmick of him, like just coming back. He came back from leukemia. Like he's already like a champ in my eyes, like to do something like that. And to come back with a gimmick of, I'm just going to be the badass that I really am. And I screw you all, and be the best champion in probably all of pro wrestling. Kenny is debatable, I understand, but I think it really is Roman Reigns. I think Roman Reigns has set himself apart from the rest of the pack in all of wrestling. Male, female, doesn't matter. It is Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Acknowledge
me. Here's what I'll say that's so incredible about Roman Reigns. We haven't had someone in a very long time who the fans were upset had the belt and kept keeping the belt. It's been a very long time. Honestly, it is not done. And he hasn't worn out his welcome. The fans are still into everything Roman Reigns is doing, every program he's working. The fans are, even though they know Finn Balor's not going to win, Lesnar's not going to win, Kevin Owens is not going to win, even though they know that's probably going to happen. They're still so invested to see what kind of match they're going to get that they watch what kind of antics, how close to losing he's going to come before he pulls victory out of the jaws of defeat. And that's been incredible to watch. The fans have been complaining every year, the same matches. And somehow Reigns has avoided that now in this new run of his. In the past, he was certainly bit by it, but now he's avoided this new run of his, and he has shot into the stratosphere. I thought there was no way he was ever going to repeat the Rock situation, and I'll be goddamned if he hasn't repeat the Rock situation where fans were totally against him. They felt he was being shoved down their throat. They didn't want him. And then he came back, and there was something about the way he came back this time that has completely put him head and shoulders above everybody else, almost everybody else, because I have another choice. And I loved it. And it's been great to see. And, it takes a certain special wrestler, Aaron, for people not to get bored with the fact that he's keeping the belt. Even Hogan was hearing those sounds after a year or two of him keeping the heavyweight title, it's the same thing. He just always wins. There hasn't been that kind of knock against Reigns at a loud enough level from the fans. And that tells you that they appreciate the fact that they like cheering against him because he delivers fantastic matches in almost every situation.
Yeah. And I see people in the chat saying Bryan Danielson. And here's the reason I didn't pick Bryan Danielson. Of course, he's great. He's an all-time great. I think he's amazing. But he didn't wrestle from April, the end of April till I think, when did he come in? You guys will correct me, October, November, somewhere in that area, or September. So there's a couple months where he wasn't there. Roman Reigns was there every single day, almost every single week. So that's the reason that I took Roman Reigns over somebody like Bryan Danielson, and the guy that you picked, I think is excellent too. But that's why I took him over Bryan Danielson.
Yeah. My choice is Kenny Omega. To me, as great as Reigns was, he's doing it with the hype machine of the WWE behind him. And yes, he's doing great. He's, as I said, delivering incredible matches, an incredible turnaround. You could argue one of the greatest comeback stories in the world of professional wrestling ever. Not only from leukemia, but also from fans not wanting him to be a wrestler anymore. Incredible. But for me, Kenny Omega, someone who has shown what he can do at every stop along the way, and delivered classic matches, memorable matches, and somehow coming to AEW found a way to up his game even more. These are the greats, ladies and gentlemen, the people who can show up at a federation when a federation is starting out like AEW, and they put the strap on you and you run with it. And all through 2021, up until his loss to Hangman Page, Kenny Omega was delivering some of the greatest matches you're ever going to watch consistently. I mentioned the Danielson match earlier, but that's only one of numerous matches that he had this year. And everyone is salivating for him to come back from that injury and take on Adam Cole, because that's also going to tear the house down when it actually happens. Also, he's been able to carry the brand of AEW, deliver some stellar promos. I mean, that promo he's talking about, anyone who could ever challenge me is dead or gone. That's just an incredible ballsy promo to deliver, and all the ways he's played with everybody, all the ways he's ran that faction, worked with the Young Bucks, all the things he's done to stay at the top of his game. You talk about Reigns, acknowledge him. Well, a guy like Kenny Omega, who every other federation said he couldn't possibly, the WWE and the top federations all said he couldn't possibly be the guy. He was the guy for almost an entire year of 2021 and carried the AEW banner so well and played all the scenes, all the promos, and all the matches to perfection, absolute perfection. So much so that when he went out with injury, the fans are like, absolutely, take your time, go rest, and we will look forward to when you come back and entertain us again. And so I think Kenny deserves all kinds of credit. He's my favorite because he was doing against more odds than Roman Reigns and still was able to deliver banger matches and bring more fans into AEW.
I can't really argue with that. The only thing that I think gives Roman the edge over Kenny is that Roman is number one in the number one company.
Yeah.
So he's the worldwide entity of something that you could crumble with all that pressure. And I think Roman just fucking boom, dude, just knocked it out of the park. And now he's going to have, like, Kenny Omega had a feud with, Bryan Danielson and Hangman Page. It was great. And Roman Reigns had a feud with John Cena, Edge, Bryan Danielson, fucking Brock Lesnar. Like, just all good stuff. And then eventually I think we're going down the road in 2023, I think at WrestleMania, where we're going to get Roman Reigns and The Rock. It's got to happen. It's got to happen.
I will have lived long enough to where The Rock is now the Hogan to Reigns is The Rock. That is
as it should be.
That's mind-blowing to me. That's absolutely mind-blowing to me that I've lived long enough that is a possibility down the road. And you might be 100% right, Aaron. We shall see for sure. Crazy stuff. Well, overall, there have been things we've complained about on the show, but overall, man, 2021 left us with an incredible amount of memories. And we hope you all enjoyed us delivering our Strongie Awards as we did our 2021 year in review and giving love and a little shit to some of the wrestlers and some of the moments and the gimmicks here from 2021. And we're excited to walk into 2022 and see what we've got here in all the promotions and federations in professional wrestling for sure. Aaron, any final words to wrap up these Strongie Awards?
Well, I think if I could do like a New Year's resolution, I think my wrestling New Year's resolution for 2022 would be to diversify myself more. Yeah, I watch a lot of WWE and a lot of a lot of AEW, but I would like to branch out more. I'd like to give Impact another chance. I'd like to watch more New Japan. So that's my thing. I want to diversify my wrestling prowess. I want to go to more indie shows when appropriate. And stuff like that. I got an invite to go to NXT, the pay-per-view they're doing, or the special they're doing next week. And I said, fuck no. So when able to, I would like to go to some indie shows and stuff like that. So as this show evolves and changes and we make some changes and things, I'm excited for that as well. So
yeah, absolutely. And certainly what Aaron is referencing here at the end is something that we're working. Look, you guys know me, the Outlaw, John Rocha. He's never satisfied with what he's created and wants to always get better. And that's the goal, whether it's the shows here or anything I do in my life, it's to get better. Aaron and I think we have a great fucking show, but there's always room for improvement to take it to another level. Just like the great wrestlers take it to the next level year to year to year. It's just like the great players add tools to their game to become some of the greatest players ever. We want to do that, be one of the greatest shows out there to talk professional wrestling. And so we've got some ideas coming into 2022 that we hope we can put in motion, and we'll make those announcements very, very soon. And I'm proud to be doing this thing for yet another year with my brother, Aaron Turner. I didn't know where it was going to go. I didn't know what was going to happen. And damn if we haven't been able to do it consistently and enjoy ourselves and the show evolve as well to kind of highlight more of the stuff you all want to talk about and more of the stuff we want to talk about for sure. So we can't thank you guys enough for joining us every week that you can, live or later, and watching these episodes of Strong Style. So we hope you had a happy new year. Please remember to like this video, share it on your social media, because when you share it, you're telling your fellow wrestling lovers that Strong Style is a great place to come and hang out and enjoy some content from Aaron and I. Aaron, another fun show. We're kicking off 2022, brother, man. Where can people find you and everything you got going on?
Find me at Twitter. On Twitter at only Aaron Turner. I have like 666 followers. Ooh, the devil. I'd like to get to 1,000 before the end of the year so we can make that happen.
Get to 1,000.
I know Rocha balks at my 1,000 wannabe followers, but yeah, let's try to make that happen if everybody twits and does that kind of thing. I'm not like a wrestling reporter, but I like to say sometimes I have some good shit from time to time. So
Aaron is a fun follow, ladies and gentlemen. I follow Aaron. Please follow Aaron. And
I would hope so.
Yeah, I mean, well, get him to that 1,000 because he's got some really funny stuff when he tweets out. So, and some great stuff and points of views on professional wrestling. So definitely follow him. Look, we get sometimes over 1,000, almost 2,000 views on each one of these episodes. So I know there's these people viewing who could follow you. So please follow him. They're at only Aaron Turner. Get him over 1,000. You got me over 20,000. Get him over 1,000 for God's sakes. There you go. As for me, as I said, you can always follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel down below. Speaking of never being satisfied, it was great to cross 20,000.
Wait.
Go ahead.
We missed a super chat.
Oh, did we?
Yeah. Gramash put in a super chat.
Gramash. Sorry. Gramash says, do you think Spider-Man No Way Home marketing was a worst kept secret on purpose and modeled after CM Punk's return? I didn't spoil anything. Cheers. Okay. A film question during the wrestling show. What do you say there, Aaron?
Yeah, it was the worst kept secret. Like, if you've seen it, I don't have to tell you. It was the worst kept secret ever.
True.
But it still worked.
Yes.
It worked on quite a level. Like I like to scroll through TikTok. I don't use it. Like, I don't put up TikToks, but I scroll through it. And man, when people post that like Spider-Man shit, like I get so jacked up every time I see it because it's awesome. So if you haven't seen it, like, you're just doing yourself a disservice.
Right. And just like CM Punk's return, we knew it was happening. We sensed it was happening, and it still surpassed expectations.
Yep.
So that tells you it's not about necessarily the spoiler. It's about, can you deliver the spoiler correctly and effectively and surround it with a great approach and a great presentation by the time the spoiler happens or spoilers happen. And certainly Spider-Man No Way Home did that, and CM Punk's return did that. So yeah, maybe they did follow it, Gramash. Nice to point that out. Okay, as I was saying, please remember to subscribe to the channel down below. Get us to 25,000. That's our next goal. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button and hit that bell button so you see when we're dropping all the new content we do on here. If you want to be part of the Patreon and hang out and have some interactive professional wrestling talk, we have that on the Patreon. Head on over to patreon.com/John Rocha. And if you're on Twitch, The Outlaw Nation, all one word there for you to follow and subscribe to everything I'm doing on Twitch. And there will definitely be more stuff in 2022. All right, be well. Take care of yourselves. Hope y'all had a happy new year. Enjoy the national championship game tomorrow night if you're going to watch it. And we'll talk to you. Or is it tomorrow night or a week from now? It's a week from now. Sorry.
I don't know. Michigan got smoked. That's all I can tell you.
It was smoked. Enjoy your week. And then we'll talk to you next week with another brand new live episode of Strong Style.